All right, so welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Project 2025. It calls itself a quiet rebellion of peace. Pretty interesting. And we've got a whole bunch of sources on this, right? We've got their main document, we've got some briefing papers, FAQs, even a study guide. So
Yeah, looks like they're really trying to get the word out.
definitely a lot to dig into here. So high level, Project 2025 says it wants to address threats to democracy, human rights, environmental sustainability. Pretty standard stuff, right?
Sounds familiar.
But the way they want to go about it, not so standard. They're really focused on art, culture, collaboration.
Love.
Love.
Yeah, they actually say that. Like, they see a lack of love as the root of all these problems.
Huh. Interesting take.
So it's less about politics and more about, like, connecting with each other.
Yeah, building a better world through, what, like empathy and creativity?
That's the vibe I'm getting.
And then there's the name they chose, TATANKA. You know what that means.
Buffalo, right.
Yeah, Lakota word for buffalo.
Strong, resilient, the whole herd working together.
Definitely sending a message there. But there's another side to this whole thing. They're really worried about what they call the Silicon Valley technocast.
Ah, yeah, big tech, all that.
Exactly. So have you ever felt like maybe these companies have too much power? I mean, they're everywhere, right?
It's hard to avoid them.
They're tracking what you do, showing you ads.
And those algorithms, always pushing you towards something.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like they're controlling what you see, what you think. And Project 2025, they're going all in on this, saying it's a huge problem.
They think it's undermining democracy, freedom, even the environment.
Wow, strong words.
But they give some pretty compelling examples. Like, you know how algorithms prioritize content that gets a reaction?
Like stuff that makes you angry or scared.
Exactly. And it doesn't even matter if it's true. They just want you engaged, clicking, watching.
So they're saying these companies are profiting off our emotions, even if it hurts us.
That's their argument. They even quote people from these companies admitting it.
Whoa, hold on. They have insiders backing this up.
Yeah, it's in their document.
That's pretty wild. And then there's the whole privacy thing.
Oh, yeah, all that data they're collecting.
Every click, they know everything.
And they're not always clear about how they're using it.
Makes you wonder what they're doing with it all.
Project 2025 claims it goes way beyond targeted advertising.
What do you mean?
They say it's surveillance, manipulation, even cooperating with authoritarian governments to, like, control people.
That's scary stuff.
And they don't stop there. They say it's not just about privacy, it's about our sense of agency.
Like our ability to make our own choices.
Yeah, they say these algorithms are shaping our online experience so much.
Filtering what we see, pushing us in certain directions.
We end up in these echo chambers, only seeing what confirms our biases.
So we're not really thinking for ourselves, we're just reacting to what they show us.
That's the concern.
Okay, so they've laid out a pretty bleak picture of big tech. But what are they actually doing about it?
Well, they're building their own social media platform. Yeah, it's called 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡𝗏.
It's got GDN. Huh. Like their own version of Facebook or something.
Kind of, but they say it's going to be different, better, designed to solve all the problems they've identified.
So no more misinformation, no more privacy violation.
That's the goal.
Sounds ambitious. How are they going to pull that off?
Their big idea is using artificial intelligence.
AI?
But not just any AI. This is AI that's been educated.
Educated? Like taught in school?
Well, not exactly, but they say it's been trained on humanities, philosophy, ethics.
Whoa, hold on. They're teaching AI about philosophy.
Yeah, they want it to be able to understand human values, make ethical decisions.
That's a pretty wild concept. I mean, can AI really learn to be more human?
That's the big question.
And one we'll have to explore further as we dive deeper into Project 2025.
Okay, so they want to use AI differently, but what does that actually look like? You know?
Yeah, how's this educated AI supposed to make 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡𝗏 better?
Well, they think it can solve a lot of the big problems with social media.
Like all that misinformation and toxic stuff.
Exactly, and think about it. Right now, it's mostly humans doing the moderation.
Which is slow, and, people make mistakes.
Plus, they have their own biases, you know?
So what they're saying, AI can do it better.
That's the idea. Especially this AI, they say it's been trained on all this stuff. Humanities, philosophy, even ethics.
So it's like more understanding of human nature.
That's what they're going for. They want it to be able to see the nuances of communication, detect bias, all that.
So instead of just taking down posts, it could actually guide the conversation.
Right, more like a mediator or facilitator.
That's a lot to ask of an algorithm.
It is, but they're really banking on this idea that AI can learn to be more, more human, more ethical.
But how do they know it won't be used for, Manipulation. What's stopping someone from just tweaking it to push their own agenda?
Well, they talk about radical transparency, where everyone can see how the AI
So it's
works.
like all the decision-making is out in the open.
Exactly. That way it's harder to hide anything shady.
But couldn't that also make it easier to, like, hack or something?
That's a risk, for sure. But they say they're working on security.
Okay, but let's say they figure it all out. What would 𝗧𝗔𝗓𝗓 actually look like?
Well, they imagine it being truly global, inclusive.
Yeah, but how do you get past all the language barriers, cultural differences?
They're counting on the AI for that, too. They think it can translate everything in real time.
So you could have a conversation with someone on the other side of the world.
And it would feel like you're speaking the same language.
Wow, that would be amazing.
And they think the AI can even help bridge cultural divides by, like, finding common ground, promoting empathy, all that.
Like a universal translator for humanity.
That's the dream.
Okay, but they're not just focused on the online world, right? They have all these real-world initiatives, too.
Oh, yeah, they want to take action on a bunch of stuff.
It's like they're trying to build a better world, both online and offline.
Definitely. They see 𝗧𝗔𝗓𝗓 as a catalyst for change.
So what kind of stuff are they talking about?
Well, they want to build these cultural hubs all over the place.
What are those?
Like physical spaces where people can connect, share knowledge, celebrate culture. They're talking recording studios, classrooms, performance spaces.
Sounds pretty awesome.
And they're specifically targeting underserved communities.
Not just in big cities.
Right, places that need more resources, opportunities.
But how are they going to pay for all this?
They're a little vague on the details, talking about partnerships, funding, but they have a goal. 5 hubs by 2026, each impacting over 10,000 people.
That's a lot of people. It'll be interesting to see how they measure the impact.
Yeah, transparency and accountability are going to be crucial.
Okay, so cultural hubs, what else?
They also want to do a lot around climate action and sustainability.
Like what?
They're planning these workshops called Earth Guardians, combining indigenous knowledge with modern practices.
Oh, that's cool. Bringing those perspectives together.
They're talking reforestation, renewable energy, all that.
So empowering people to take action on climate change.
Exactly, and they really want to center indigenous voices in all this.
Which makes sense. They have a deep understanding of the environment.
But again, they don't go into a lot of detail on how they'll actually do it.
So, like, how are they connecting with indigenous communities?
They mention working with environmental organizations.
There's no specifics on which ones or how they'll make sure it's all respectful.
Right, there's definitely a need for more transparency there.
Okay, what about displaced communities? That's a huge issue.
Yeah, they're tackling that too. On 2 fronts. First, they're committing to donate some of their proceeds.
To help refugees and stuff?
Exactly. Things like housing, legal aid, job training.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is.
You could say that.
But who are they donating to?
They mention global refugee networks, but again, no specifics.
So we have to trust they'll choose wisely.
And be transparent about it.
Okay, what's the second part of their plan?
They want to create an online portal where displaced people can find resources. Things like mental health support, legal help, even job listings.
So they're using the platform to connect people with what they need.
Exactly, but there are definitely logistical challenges there.
Like, how do you make sure everyone can access it?
And how do you keep people's information safe? It's going to take a lot of careful planning.
For sure, it's a really complex issue.
But it shows how they're trying to use their platform to make a real difference.
Okay, so cultural hubs, climate action, displaced communities. What about those global events they keep mentioning?
Oh, yeah, they're thinking big there. They want to host this annual gathering, the TATANKA World Forum.
Catchy name?
They're envisioning artists, policymakers, activists from all over.
Coming together to talk about, like, global solutions.
Right. Dialogue, collaboration, exchanging ideas.
Sounds kind of like a TED Talk meets a UN summit.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And they also want to do regional festivals showcasing indigenous culture.
Oh, that's nice. Celebrating diversity.
They think it can help break down barriers, build understanding.
It all sounds great, but how are they going to pay for it?
Well, they talk about sponsorships, partnerships, all that.
But no concrete plans yet.
Not that they've shared.
Okay, so lots of big ideas, lots of ambition.
Definitely. And lots of questions about how they'll make it all happen.
Right. And there's one more thing we haven't really dug into yet. This whole matriarchal leadership thing.
Yes, that's a big part of their message.
They keep saying it's essential to their vision. Remember that quote, "It is a woman's turn."
Yeah. Pretty strong statement.
But what does it actually mean for Project 2025?
That's what we need to unpack next.
Okay, so we've talked about their goals, the social media platform, all those real-world projects. But there's this one thing they keep coming back to, this idea of matriarchal leadership.
Yeah, it's definitely a theme throughout their stuff.
They're pretty upfront about it, too, like it's central to their whole vision.
Yeah, that quote from Jerry Janes really sticks out.
It is woman's turn.
Like,
He's not mincing words.
so what does that actually mean for Project 2025, like, practically?
That's the thing. They don't really give a clear definition. Yeah, it's kind of open to interpretation.
Some people might see it as just, like, more women in charge.
Which is important, don't get me wrong.
Absolutely, representation matters.
But maybe they're also talking about, like, certain values.
Yeah, qualities that are traditionally associated with, I guess, femininity.
Things like empathy, collaboration, nurturing.
Right, but those aren't exclusive to women, of course.
Yeah, men can be empathetic, too.
So it's not about excluding anyone. It's more about a different approach.
It's a different way of leading.
And that fits with their whole message, right?
Yeah, love, interconnectedness, all that.
It's not just about who's in charge, but how they lead.
You got to think about the historical context, too.
For sure, leadership has been dominated by men for so long.
It's shaped everything, our systems, our culture.
And Project 2025 seems to be saying it's time for a change.
Like a new paradigm, something more balanced.
It's a pretty radical idea.
So how do they plan to actually implement this,
Will they have a mostly female leadership team?
Will they make decisions differently?
It's all kind of unclear.
We'll have to see how it plays out.
And remember, this idea of matriarchal leadership, it's complex.
There are different ways to interpret it, different ways to practice it.
It's not just as simple either.
Yeah, it's about embracing all those different perspectives.
And finding a way to lead that works for everyone.
It definitely adds another layer to this whole thing.
It makes you think, can they really pull it all off?
The platform, the real world stuff, this new kind of leadership.
It's a massive undertaking.
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure.
They've given us a lot to think about.
That's what this deep dive's all about, right?
Sparking curiosity, encouraging critical thinking.
Making you want to learn more, dig deeper.
So check out the links in the show notes. You can find all their materials there.
And do your own research, form your own opinions.
Because that's what it means to be an engaged citizen.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a fascinating one.
We'll catch you on the next one. Until then, stay curious.